Characteristics of the graph of quadratic function. So in previous module, you will learn to transform the general form and the standard form of quadratic function. You were given opportunities also to change one in terms of the other and relate the concept in real world. So in this topic, you will work on graphing quadratic functions. You will find out the steps to consider in graphing quadratic. You will be given opportunities also to explore the graph of quadratic functions. So MELC, graph a quadratic function and determine the following. First, the domain, the range, intercepts, axis of symmetry, vertex, direction of the opening of the parabola from the given graph of the equation. So let's start the lesson by generating table of values of quadratic functions and plotting the points on the coordinate plane. So follow the procedure in doing the activity. First, given the quadratic functions y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 7 and y is equal to negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. We need to transform them in the form of y is equal to a quantity x minus h raised to the second power plus k. So in order for us to transform this one into its vertex form, we have two solutions. So pipiliin ko ng solution is yung may formula. The second one, last meeting. So ang formula natin in finding for the h value, h is equal to negative b divided by 2a. So let's identify our real numbers a, b, and c. Our a is equal to 1. Our b is equal to negative 8. And our c is equal to 7. Then let's substitute. Step number 2. Negative b. Ang b po natin ay negative 8. So pag pinalitan po natin, negative 8 all over 2 times ang a po natin ay 1. So, let's simplify. H now is equal to negative times negative positive. Divided by 2 times 1, that is 2. So, ang h value po natin ay equal to 4. How about our k value? So, in order for you to find for the k value, kailangan po natin ang ating formula, which is k is equal to 4ac minus b squared divided by 4a. And then, isa-substitute po natin. So, ang k po natin ay 4 times ang a po natin ay 1 at ang c natin ay 7 minus ang b po natin ay negative 8 squared divided by 4. Ang a po natin ay 1. Therefore, k now is equal to 4 times 7, that is equal to 28, minus 8 times 8, negative times negative, that is positive 64, times negative, that is negative 64, divided by 4. So, what is 28 minus 64? If you subtract 28 minus 64, that is equal to 36. So, 36. So, ang k po natin is equal to negative 36 divided by 4. And that is equal to, nung sagot, Negative 36 divided by 4, that is equal to negative 9. So, ito po, negative 9. Kung mapapansin ninyo, ang k po natin ay negative 9 at ang h po natin ay positive 4. So, kapag kinonvert po natin yan into a vertex form, magiging y is equal to, palitan po natin dito. Ang a po natin ay 1. So, isusulat natin, pwede ding hindi na isulat. X, tapos ang h po natin, negative h po ang nasa formula, positive po ang nandito. So, positive times negative, that will become negative 4. Huwag pong kalimutan ang squared plus. Since ang k po natin ay plus k sa formula, at ang nakuha po natin ay negative 9, so ibig sabihin, minus 9. So, if we convert, let's proceed sa second equation. Y is equal to negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. So, we need to identify our real numbers A, which is negative 1, our B, which is equal to 4, and our C, which is equal to positive 5. And then, palitan po natin. Ang H po natin is, ang formula natin is negative B all over 2A. So, H now is equal to, ang B po natin ay 4. So, magiging negative 4 divided by 2 times negative 1. So, H now is equal to negative 4. 2 times negative 1, that is negative 2. Therefore, H natin ay equal to positive 2. Kunin naman natin ang ating K value. Ang K value natin, same lang ang formula, which is 4AC. So, 4AC. Palitan po natin 4 times ang A natin ay negative 1. Ang C natin ay 5. Minus B squared. Minus 4 squared. Divided by 4 times ang A po natin ay negative 1. So, simplify po natin. K now is equal to, pag sinimplify po natin, 4 times negative 1, that is negative 4 times 5, that is negative 20. And then, negative 4 times 4, that is positive 16. 16 times negative, that is negative 16. 4 times negative 1, that is negative 4. K now is equal to negative 20, negative 16, like sign, add, and then attach the sign. So, magiging negative 36 divided by negative 4. K now is equal to positive 9. So, if we convert this one into our vertex form, this will become y is equal to, ang a po natin, tandaan, negative 1. Quantity x. Ang h po natin ay positive 2. So, magiging negative 2. Tapos, i-square po ninyo. At ang k po natin ay plus 9. Since ang k value natin ay positive 9. So, after we convert the following quadratic function into its vertex form, proceed po tayo sa letter B. So, we need to complete the table of values for x and y. So, ang nakuha po natin kanina na h po natin ay equal to 4. So, since yon po ay equal to 4, ito, equal to 4. Yan po yung h natin. H, kukunin po natin ang ating vertex. Kasi ang vertex daw po ay yung H at saka yung K. So, ibig sabihin, yung kinuha po natin kanina sa una, ang H natin ay equal to 4. Tapos, ang K natin ay equal to negative 9. So, ibig sabihin, ang y po, if the value of x is equal to 4, the value of y is equal to negative 9 upon substitution. So, paano po natin malalaman yung mga number as the values of x po na isa-substitute natin? Since ito po ang basis natin, our vertex. Kukuha po kayo ng dalawa sa left at kukuha po kayo ng dalawang number sa right. So, since 4 po yan, so ano po yung less than 4 na dalawang number? So, 3 at saka 2. Tapos, ano yung greater than 4 na number na dalawa? 5 at saka 6. Para mabuo natin yung table of values natin. Kung nakuha nyo na po yung mga yan, so we need to let x. So, solve po tayo. We need to let x as the values of this given equation and then simplify or sa substitute po natin. So, let x po natin una. Ang let x natin ay equal to 2. If your x is equal to 2, what do you think would be the value of y? So, y is equal to, kunin po natin yung formula or yung equation natin, x squared minus 8x plus 7. So, magiging x squared, palitan po yung x ng 2 squared minus 8, palitan din po yung x ng 2 plus 7. So, therefore, magiging 4, negative 16 plus 7. 7 plus 4, that is 11. 11 minus 16, ang y po natin ay equal to negative 5. So, kapag ang value ng x natin ay 2, ang y po natin ay negative 5. Ayan. Same with the x as value, the value of x as 3. So, ile-let nyo lang din po. Let x is equal to positive 3. So, palitan po lahat. Y now is equal to 3 squared minus 8 times 3 plus 7. So, magiging 3 times 3, you need to multiply the base twice itself. 9, negative 24, plus 7. So, 9 plus 7, that is 16, minus 24. So, y now is equal to negative 8. So, kapag ang x mo daw ay 3, ang y mo po ay negative 8. Tignan din naman natin kapag linet natin ang x is equal to 5. So, 5y is equal to 5 square. Ayan. Minus 8 times 5 plus 7. 5 times 5, that is 25. Minus 8 times 5, that is 40. Plus 7. So, 25 plus 7, that is 32. 32 minus 40, that is negative 8. So, if the value of x is equal to 5, the value of y is equal to negative 8. Last, what if ang x po natin ay equal to positive 6? So, palitan po natin. Let x is equal to 6. Y is equal to, x daw is 6 squared minus 8 times 6 plus 7. So, 6 times 6, that is 36, minus 8 times 7. Ano pong sagot? Ay, 8 times 6. That is equal to, 8 times 6, that is equal to 48. 48 plus 7. So, 36 plus 7, 43. So, 43 minus 48. So, therefore, y now is equal to negative 5. So, kapag ang x mo ay 6, ito po ay negative 5. Observe nyo po yung table of values po natin. Dapat po may makita kayo dyan. Then next, proceed naman tayo. So, ito na yung table of values natin sa equation nating y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 7. Tignan naman po natin ang table of values natin sa second equation, negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. So, ang nakuha po natin kaninang vertex po natin, ito po yung vertex natin, which is yung h at saka yung k po natin. So, ang h po natin kanina na nakuha natin is 2, At ang k na nakuha natin ay positive 9. So, let's proceed. Sa substitute po natin ulit lahat. So, what do you think would be the value of x or y if your x is equal to 0? So, meron mapapansin ninyo, yung basis na po natin ay 2 at saka 9. So, kung ang x mo ay 2, kuha ka po ng 2 na greater than numbers. Greater than 2 na dalawang numbers. So, yan po ay 3 at saka 4. Tapos, kuha ka din po ng less than. Dalawang less than. So, yan po ay, ano po ba yung sunod sa number line? Yan po ay 1, then 0. Tapos po, magle-let x na naman tayo. So, unahin na natin, let x is equal to 0. Pag sinubstitute po natin, y is equal to negative, yan po ay 0 squared plus 4 times 0 plus 5. So, mapapansin ninyo, ito po lahat ay makakancel kasi 0. So, therefore, kapag po ang x natin ay 0, ang y po natin ay equal po sa 5. Positive 5. So, ito po ay positive 5. Paano naman kung ang x natin ay equal to 1? So, ile-let x natin is equal to 1. So, palitan po natin. Y now is equal to negative quantity 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 5. So, therefore, 1. 1 times 1, 1. Plus 4 times 1, 4. Plus 5. So, 4 plus 5, 9. Negative 1 plus 9. Y now is equal to positive 8. So, kapag ang x mo ay 1, ang y mo ay positive 8. O, tingnan naman natin kapag ang x natin ay 3. Kapag ang x po natin ay 3, so let x is equal to 3. So, substitute, palitan lahat. So, y now is equal to negative 3 squared plus 4 times 3 plus 5. Negative 9 plus 4 times 3, that is 12 plus 5. So, negative 9 plus 17. Y now is equal to, negative 9 plus 17, that is equal to 8. So, kapag ang x mo ay 3, ang y mo ay equal to 8. Yan. So, last po ay 4. Pag sinubstitute po natin ang 4, ayan, palitan ko na lang po itong mga to. So, ang value po natin ay 4. So, 4 is squared times 4. 4 times 4, that is equal to negative 16 plus 16 plus 5. So, mapapansin ninyo, ito na po ay equal to 0. So, ang natira na lang po ay 5. Therefore, kapag ang y mo ay equal to 4, ang x mo ay equal to 4, ang y mo ay equal to 5. So, ito na po yung table of values po natin sa second equation. So, let's sketch the graph on the Cartesian coordinate plane. So, ito po yung nakuha po natin kanina as the table of values. Ito, ng equation natin, y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 7. So, pag graph po natin yan, ordered pair ang gagawin po natin, 2, negative 5. So, from this point of origin, lakad daw po tayo ng positive 2, dalawa. So, 1, 2. And then, baba po tayo kasi negative 5 po ang y natin. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Andito po yung point, 5. So, yan po ay ordered pair 2, negative 5. Proceed po tayo sa 3, negative 8. Sa 3, negative 8, ito naman po ang ordered pair natin. Sa vertex po natin, yun ay 4, negative 9. And then, yung next is 5. Ang x natin ay 5, lakad tayo ng 5, baba tayo ng 8. So, yan po. 5, negative 8. And then, lakad tayo ng 6, baba po tayo ng 5, negative 5. So, yan po yung point po natin. So, this one is the graph of this given quadratic function. Siya po ay isang parabola. Okay? So, if we divide this one into two equal part, may tinatawag po natin, ito ang tawag natin dito ay yung axis of symmetry. So, tignan po natin. Sa una, yung turning point po. Tawag natin sa turning point, that is the vertex point. So, ano po yung vertex po natin dito? Ito po ay 4, negative 9. Ito po ba, ang turning point po ba natin ay maximum or minimum point? If the given graph is opening upward and opening downward, so kapag opening upward po, minimum kasi nasa ilalim po siya. Pag opening downward naman po, yan po ay maximum. So, minimum point po ang number 1. Proceed po tayo, number 2. So, ang number 2 natin here is the table of values that we already derived a while ago. So, if the values of x is 0, the value of y is 5. So, from the origin 0, tayo po ay aakyat ng 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, the point is located here. So, this one is the ordered pair 0, 5. The next, same lang din po, 1, 8, positive. And then, next is 2, 9, 3, 8, ordered pair, and 4, 5. So, this one now is the graph of our quadratic equation, negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. And then, let's identify the axis of symmetry, andun po sa gitna. So, ang axis of symmetry po natin, yung h value. So, saan po ang turning point ng ating number 2 equation? Turning point, ito po ang kanyang turning point, 2 and 9. And also, ang point po niya, is it minimum or is it maximum? Nasa taas po siya. So, ibig sabihin po, maximum points. So, how will you describe the graph form? What do you call this graph? Have you or what have you observed about the opening of the curves? Do you have any idea where you can relate the opening of the curves? Which of the two quadratic function has a minimum point and has a maximum point? So, ayan po ang ating graph for the two given equation. So, since mapapansin ninyo, yung sabi ko sa inyo noon nakaraan, shortcut, yung A natin ay positive, so open up. Kapag ang A natin ay negative, open downward. Okay? So, this one, to better understand the properties of the graph of a quadratic function, let's study the concept below. Ito po. So, the graph of a quadratic function, y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, ay tinatawag po natin siyang parabola. So, you have noticed that the parabola opens upward, ito, and opens downward. It has a turning point. It has a turning point, and that is what we call the vertex, which is either the highest point or the lowest point of the graph. If the value of A is greater than 0, mas mataas sa 0, those are positive numbers, the parabola opens upward and has a minimum point. So, parabola ay open upward, it has a minimum point. Okay? If A is less than 0, the parabola opens downward. Ito naman po. And it has a maximum point. There is a line called the axis of symmetry. Ito po yung axis of symmetry, ito po, which divides the graph into two parts, such that one half of the graph is a reflection of the other half. So, ito po, kalahati niya pong ito, ay reflection po nun dun sa kabila. If the quadratic function is expressed in the form of y is equal to, or the vertex form, y is equal to a quantity x minus h square plus k, and that is the vertex point. So, ang vertex point po natin ay yung v, and that is your h at saka yung k value, vertex point. So, the line x, and that is or equal to h, that is what we call the axis of symmetry. So, ito po, kung ano po yung makukuha ninyong h, yun po ang axis of symmetry po natin. And the line or the k is the minimum. Yung sa k naman po, ito po ay malalaman nyo kung yan ay minimum or kung yan ay maximum value of the function. So, by review of graphing quadratic function, let's have here a real-life situation. Kick that ball. Maria kicked a ball into the air. The height y is in feet of the ball after x seconds can be modeled by the quadratic function y is equal to negative 16x squared plus 32x. So, the arc formed by the ball is a curve shape, and that is what we called the parabola. So, can you graph the actual parabola form by the given function above and answer the different questions? So, we have here the different characteristics of a quadratic function or a parabola. So, what is the opening of the parabola? The coordinates of the turning point of the parabola. What is the equation of the line that divides the parabola into two equal parts? That is the symmetry. At what point or points does the parabola intersect or intersect the x-axis? At what point or points does the parabola intersect or sects the y-axis? For what values of x satisfy the given function based on the graph? And for what values of y satisfy the given function based on the graph? So let's investigate our first given equation. So it's shown here the graph of a quadratic function defined by y is equal to negative 16x squared plus 32x. You notice that the parabola opens downward. Ito po. In some cases, parabola opens upward. So, if in the quadratic function y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c, if the value of a is greater than 0, then the parabola opens upward and has a minimum point. If a is less than 0, the parabola opens up or opens downward and has a maximum value. So, the turning point of parabola is what we call the vertex. Ito po, ang tawag po natin dito ay vertex. With the coordinate of, ang tawag po natin dito ay vertex. At meron po tayong coordinate which is yung tinatawag nating HK. So, vertex at ang coordinate niya po ay HK. Yan. So, in this case, so dito po sa problem natin, ang vertex po natin is what? So, ano po yung vertex po natin? Ang vertex natin ay nandito. So, ano po yung number? Lakad po siya ng isa, akyat po siya ng 16. So, ibig sabihin, ang vertex po ng given equation natin ay 1, positive 16. So, yan po yung vertex. There is a line called the axis of symmetry. Ito pong line na to. Ang tawag po natin dito ay axis of symmetry. It divides the parabola into two equal parts. So, always remember the graph into two parts such that the half of the graph is a reflection of the other half. So, in the graph, The equation of the axis of symmetry is, sabi ko kanina, yung axis of symmetry, kung ano po yung h. Kung ano yung h mo, yun po yung equal sa x, yun din po yung axis of symmetry mo. So, ano po yung h po natin dito? Ito po ay 1. So, ibig sabihin, ang axis of symmetry natin ay positive 1. If the quadratic function is expressed in the form of y is equal to a, quantity x minus h squared plus k, the vertex is the point hk. The line is x is equal to h, is the axis of symmetry, and k is the minimum. Ito po. K is the minimum or the maximum value of the function. So, the graph intersect the x-axis at 0, 0. Ito po. Saan siya? Ang x-axis niya. Ito at saka ito. Kung saan ang x-axis ang tawag natin, yung 0 po ang y. So, di ba hindi na sila umakyat? So, ibig sabihin, ito po ang tawag natin dito ay x-axis. So, these are called x-intercept. To x-intercept. That is 0, 0. Yung isa naman ay 2, 0. Ang tawag po natin dyan ay x-intercept. These are the points at which the graph of an equation crosses the x-axis, while the graph intersects the y-axis is what we called. So the graph intersects the y-axis at 0, 0. So this is what we call the y-intercept. It is a point which the graph of equation crosses the y-axis. So 0, 0 din po ang y-axis po niya. And then next, we need to identify also the domain of a quadratic function. It is the set of real numbers. So pag sinagutan nyo po what is the domain of the given quadratic function, ang ilalagay nyo lang po, set of all real numbers. The range naman, it depends on whether the parabola opens upward or downward. So, ang range po natin depende kung yan ay open upward or kung yan ay open downward. Kapag daw po yan ay open upward, ang magiging range nyo po is the set of y such that y is greater than, kung ito po ay open upward, lista natin. Kung ito po ay open up, ang magiging range po natin, range, ay y such that y is greater than or equal to k. So, ito po, kung ano yung k na nakuha nyo lang din. Kapag ito po ay open down, ang range niya naman po, or open downward, ang range niya po ay y such that y is less than or equal to k. So, ano lang? Greater than or less than lang po. So, the range of this given equation, itong example po natin, yung problem natin. So, ang range niya po, ito ba ay open up or open down? So, open downward. So, therefore, ang range po ng equation natin or nung ito, problem natin is y. Downward po siya such that y is less than or equal to positive 16. So, ito po. So, kapag in-express po natin to sa set notation nung kayo ay grade 7, ito po ay 16 and then positive infinity. Positive infinity po yan, hindi po yan 8. Wait lang, ayusin natin. Positive positive infinity. Yan po ay yung group notation. So, to fully understand the characteristics of the graph of a quadratic function, let's study the given examples below. Sketch the graph of quadratic function and then identify the range, the domain. So, ito po, yung unang-una po natin, example, y squared plus 4x minus 5. So, kunin po natin yung h. So, substitute negative b all over 2a. Negative 4 divided by 2a, 2 times 1, that is negative 2. So, yan po yung nakuha natin. And then next, ang k value naman po natin, same lang din. So, isa-substitute po natin. So, this will be 4 times a times c minus b squared divided by 4a. So, 4 times 1 times negative 5, negative 20, minus 4 times 4, that is 16. So, ayan po, divided by 4. So, ang nakuha po natin, negative 9. Kung mapapansin nyo po, pag gumawa tayo ng, this one is already the domain and the range. Table of values, negative 2, at saka, ito po, ay negative, to. Negative 9. So, kuha po tayo ng dalawa, negative 1, 0, negative 3, negative 4. Pag sinubstitute po natin, makukuha po natin yung mga values ng y. Negative 5, negative 8, negative 9, negative 8, negative 5. So, yun po makukuha natin. Pag graph po natin, ito po ang kanyang itsura. So, from the vertex point, negative 2 and negative 6. Mapapansin nyo ang tawag po natin dito ay vertex form. X and Y form table of values. Ito po. Ito na po, yung mga ordered pairs. May matatawag po tayong y-intercept. Ang y-intercept po, saan po nag-zero ang x? Yun po ang tinatawag nating y-intercept. So, dito sa graph, makikita nyo na nag-zero ang x natin sa 0, negative 5. So, ito po yung y-intercept natin pag sa table naman ang titignan. Ngayon po, pag titignan natin ulit, saan po ang x-intercept? When y is equal to 0. So, saan po magsisiro ang y-intercept natin? Kailan daw po? Kapag po ang x natin ay 1, 0 ang y po natin. At kapag ang x natin ay negative 5, 0 po ang y natin. Kaya ang tinatawag po natin yan na x-intercept. Tapos yung axis of symmetry, ito po, kung ano po yung h nyo. So, ang h po natin ay negative 2. So, yun po yung axis of symmetry po natin. Hanapin natin ang domain, set of real numbers. Ang range po natin, open up. So, y such that y is greater than or equal to our k value, negative 9. Sets of the real numbers that are equal and or greater than negative 9. So, ito po yun. Ang intercepts po natin, ang x natin, ito. Saan siya nag-zero ang y? Nag-zero po ang y kay negative 5 at saka kay negative 1. So, ito po, negative 5 at saka kay negative 1. Negative 5, negative, ay positive 1. Yan. So, saan po nag-zero ang x natin? 0 ang x natin, negative 5 ang y natin, dun po ang y-intercept po natin. So, y now is equal to negative 5, 0. Axis of symmetry, yun po yung h. Yun po yung h natin kanina, or h. Ayan. So, negative 2. Vertex, h is equal to negative 2 and k is equal to 3. Opening or direction of the opening of the parabola. Open up, open down. Open upward. Asan po makikita ang point niya? Turning point. Open, since yan ay open upward, minimum, maximum point. Yan po ay minimum point. Clear? O, madali lang. So, these are the different characteristics of a parabola. Let's proceed. Another example. So, to fully understand the characteristic of the graph of a quadratic function, study the following example. Number 1, we need to determine the vertex, direction of the opening of the parabola, axis of symmetry, the domain, range, and intercepts given the graph. So, given po dito ay yung graph. Ayan ang graph. Kailangan po nating alamin yung mga characteristics niya, yung vertex niya, opening of the graph, vertex is a blank point, minimum ba yan or maximum po ba yan? Axis of symmetry, the domain, the range, the x-intercepts, and the y-intercept. Proceed tayo. Dito po, upon merely seeing for the graph of a quadratic function, kaya makikita po natin yung vertex. Ito po ang vertex niya. So, ano po yung x niya? 1. Umakyat siya ng 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ibig sabihin, ang vertex niya po ay 1, negative 4. Yan. Opening of the graph. Open up, open downward. Opening upward. Vertex is a point. Kapag yan ay open downward, minimum, maximum, minimum point. Axis of symmetry. Ito ang axis of symmetry niya. So, yun po yung H niya. Ito po yung H, ito po yung K. So, ano ang axis of symmetry natin? X is equal to 1. Or K is equal, H or X is equal to 1. Ano po yung domain? Set of real numbers. Pwede pong ganito, pwede rin pong isulat nyo ng ganito. Set of all real numbers. Ano po yung range natin? Ang range po natin, open up. Therefore, greater than or less than? Greater than. So, y such that y is greater than or equal to? Ano yung k? Negative 4. So, saan po ang x-intercepts natin? Ang x-intercepts natin, saan po yung mag-0 ang y? So, baliktarin natin ha, ang x-intercept yung 0 ang y. Yung hindi siya umakyat, nasa x-axis lang siya. So, ito po ang isa at ito po ang isa. Okay, so ano pong sagot natin dyan? Yan po ay negative 1, 0 at saka yung 3, 0. Hindi po siya umakyat, kaya po 0, 0 ang y. Yan po ang tawag natin dyan, x-intercept. Saan naman po ang y-intercepts po natin? Kung saan po ang x po natin ay 0. So, from the origin, this one is the origin. And then, ang y po natin ay 1, 2, 3. Negative 3. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ang x mo ay 0, ang y mo ay negative 3. Yan po ang tinatawag nating y-intercepts. So, I am hoping po na naiintindihan nyo na yung the different characteristics of a parabola. So, let's have another example. So, still, how about this one? The graph, opening downward naman po. The vertex po ay nandito. So, saan? Negative 1, positive 4. Yan. From this part, negative 1, akyat po siya ng positive 4. Opening of the graph, open downward. Kapag open downward, ano yung point ng kanyang vertex, minimum or maximum? That is the maximum point. Axis of symmetry, eto po, kung ano yung H po natin at saka kung ano yung K natin. Yung H po natin, yung axis of symmetry, negative 1. H or X, negative 1. The domain, set or real numbers, same lang. Ang range po natin, yung y. So, ano po yan kanina? So, ibig sabihin, y such that y is opening downward. So, ito po dapat ay greater than or less than. Please check. Check natin. Kung ang opening downward po, yan po ay y such that less than po. So, dapat po ito ay less than or equal to positive 4. Ayan. Ang x-intercepts natin, saan nag-0 ang y? Dito po, part. So, yan po. 1, 0 at saka negative 3, 0. Saan po nag-0 ang y? Yun ang x. Yun naman po ang y-intercept natin. 0 at saka 3. Diba? Madali lang i-identify yung characteristics ng ng parabola natin or yung parts ng parabola natin kapag po siya nakagraph. Paano naman kaya kung equation po yung given? Katulad po nito. Y is equal to negative quantity x plus 2 raised to the second power minus 1. So, madali lang din siya. Apply lang po natin yung napag-aralan natin nung nakaraan. Kunin nyo po yung vertex. Ang vertex po natin, ito yung H, ito yung K. Kapag H po natin ay positive 2, ibig sabihin ang H po natin yan ay negative. Kasi di ba ang formula natin ay y is equal to a quantity x minus h squared plus k. So, nag-change na po yung h niyan. Since ito ay positive 2, Ibig sabihin ang h natin ay negative 2. Yung k po walang pagbabago. Kung ano po yung sign niya, yun din po ang sign. So direction of the opening of the parabola. Alam nyo na, negative po yun. So, ibig sabihin, a is less than 0. So, it opens downward. Okay? And then, axis of symmetry. Ano po ang axis of symmetry po natin dito? Since x is equal to positive 2, ito po, then the equation of the axis of symmetry is equal to negative 2. Ito po, negative 2. Yun yung h natin, di ba? Okay, so the domain of the quadratic function, all real numbers. Same lang din. Range, since it opens downward ulit, kasi negative yung a po natin, ang range po natin ay y such that y is less than or equal to k. So, y such that y is less than or equal to negative 1. Ito po ang k po natin. Okay. The intercepts. X-intercept, so let y be 0. Then, compute for the value of x. So, pag kinompute po natin yung value ng x, hanapin po natin yung x-intercepts niya. Mapapansin nyo po, kapag grinaph po natin to negative 2 and negative 1, hindi po siya dadaan sa x-axis. Nasa gitna po siya. Nasa quadrant 3. So, wala po tayong mahahanap na x-intercepts. And then, ang y-intercept naman, let x be 0. Pag kinompute po natin yung y value, ilelet natin yung x as 0, makukuha po natin na ang y po natin ay negative 5. Okay? So, ang y-intercept natin is at 0, negative 5. Lagi nyo pong tatandaan or ino-note. Ito po ay naka-vertex form. Paano kapag yan po ay kapag ito po ay quadratic function. Standard form. So, tandaan nyo na ang y-intercepts po is 0c or yung tinatawag natin 0 constant. Kaya po, na-identify natin na ito po ay negative 5. Base po yan sa constant. Hindi po ito yung constant. Sisimplify nyo po muna to dapat para makuha po yung negative 5. So, I do hope na naintindihan nyo po. So, ang mga napag-aralan po natin ngayon, characteristics of the graph of quadratic function, wherein the graph of quadratic function is a smooth curve, and that is what we called a parabola. Kinuha po natin ang vertex. We also identify the domains, the range, axis of symmetry, direction of the opening of the parabola, and also the x and the y intercepts. Okay? So, that's it for today. Thank you so much.